Hi, Capricorn. My name is Darlene Dotson, and this is your Destiny of Truth for January of 2021, Capricorn. Now, on the 1st, we have Mercury in Capricorn, your sign, first house, and it's sextiling Neptune in Pisces in the 3rd house. And you're having to look at communication projects, or it could be your day-to-day affairs, and looking at what's happening there, with your own voice in those projects. Now, that is a sextile, so you're going to have to use that energy, because it's not going to happen unless you put your foot there to make it happen. But you pretty much, you also, it could be a creative project that you're doing in the communications issue, because it is your first house, and it is your own communications, and why you're feeling disillusioned about things in your day-to-day affairs. It could be that too. There's so many interpretations to Mercury being in your first house, because your first house is your identity. It's who you are. So we're looking at how you relate when you communicate with others. Are you feeling emotionally disillusioned about that? Well, why? Look at it. All it's going to do is make you better than you are today. And what's wrong with that, Capricorn? Because that you're going through a lot of changes anyway. Now, on the 4th, we have Mercury in Capricorn again in the first house, conjunct Pluto in Capricorn in the first house. Oh, and there it is, that big transformation, that rising, from the ashes to the phoenix energy that you're doing, that transformation that you're taking on. And again, it has to do with how you're communicating with others. That has to go through a transformation. Um, because Capricorn, we do know how stern you can be with others at times, so there is a big transformation happening with yourself in the way that you communicate with others. So then on the 6th, we have Mars in Taurus in the 5th house. And, when Mars enters a house, it's a changing of the guard. It's a changing of the energy. You're going to be looking at this point on how you communicate with others in your creative project. You're looking at how you, maybe talk and relate to your children and the energy that you're putting there. And you're also looking at the energy that you could be putting into your dating life. And I do believe that's where your energy is going to go the next 30 days, because you want to put that on a more firm footing, a stable foundation. Then on the 8th, we have Mercury in Aquarius in the 2nd house. And again, Mercury's moving out of stern Capricorn, and now he's moving into Aquarius. And if you've ever known an Aquarius Mercury, they're very quiet, but that doesn't mean it's because, well, they're quiet about their lives, and it doesn't mean that they're quiet in nature. They're just examining everything around them to contemplate their next move. And Capricorn, that's a good place for this energy, being in your second house. You're looking at your ethics and your morals and how it relates to your finances. You know, what are you going to do to change those finances that bring you more in line with your ethics and your morals? Then on the 8th, we also have Venus entering Capricorn on the 1st. Okay. Well, happy birthday, Capricorn. It's your time to shine. You know, whenever Venus is in our sign, it's when we're more attractive. We're more authentic to who we are. And because of that, people are more physically attracted to us because we're being us. You know, we're not being a perceived notion of who we are supposed to be. We're being who we are at our very deepest level. We're being who we are at our soul, and people are just more attracted to that. You know, so, you know, and you could be sprucing up your game a little too. Then on the sun, the 8th, we also had the sun in Capricorn in the first house, and that sextiles, you know, Neptune in Pisces in your third house. Now, with this, I would say with Neptune being in the third and the sun in the first, that you're pretty much looking at your communication endeavors. Could be that you're very psychic, okay? That you just know things, okay? And you're putting energy there to make a project come alive. That could be another manifestation when we have Neptune. Or some people can be, you know, into conspiracy theories that have Capricorn energy. And, you know, some people might look at them a little bit strange. Then others are like, oh, yeah, you know. But Neptune energy, it's a positive force and a negative force. It can be disillusionment. It can be playing games. It can be addictions. Okay, and it's in the third house of our day-to-day travel. Our, let's see, you know, day-to-day travel, communications, just things that we relate to in communications. And like I said, it could be, you know, with Neptune there, you're looking at people who are giving out conspiracy theories that you don't buy into. It could be that. I mean, because the sun is in your first house. So it's something that you're invested in and you're putting out there for others to know. But again, this is your energy. Okay, something you're invested in. And when it's a Neptunian energy, you have to remember that this energy is not going to show all of its sides. It's ever continuing, omnipotent, you know. It's just, Neptune will never give you the full picture. That's just who he is. Then on the 9th, we have Venus in Capricorn in the first, trining Mars in Taurus in the 5th. Now, here we have with Venus, being in Capricorn, again, you're being, putting yourself out there and being natural to you. And, therefore, while you're out there being natural, you're going to, with it trining Mars and Taurus in the 5th, people are going to be more attracted to you in your dating life and in your creative life, and even putting energy into your children that you want to get on a stable foundation, something that's more on foot. It's there for you. You just have to do something with it on this day. Then on we have Mercury in Aquarius in the 2nd house, conjunct Saturn in Aquarius in the 2nd house. And yeah, the stern grandfather's there. He is making you focus on your finances, okay? And yeah, he's going to restrict your finances is why your mind's on this. He's going to restrict something that has to do with your thoughts and your behavior about finances on this day, because Saturn's in there playing, wanting to constrict it too. Again, it's an issue that you've got to deal with though. On the 11th, we have Mercury in Aquarius in the 2nd house, conjunct Jupiter in Aquarius in the 2nd house. And Jupiter expands what he touches. So he's expanding your money. He's expanding your ethics, expanding your morals. Just to give you a little bit of feedback on who I am, when I look at a synastry chart, one of the first things I do is look at both of the 2nd houses. And the reason being, that's our morals. That's who we are at our moral fiber. You're not going to change that in people. So if one person has, a moral fiber of a Leo, let's go out and party, have a, great time, do all of that. Let's shine the light. And the other one has a moral fiber of, say, a Taurus. Okay, being grounded, focused on the money, making everything stable. Well, you're going to have a hard time. Not saying that the energy won't work, but I'm saying there's going to be some challenges there, because one wants to invest in putting it into the home, making everything stable, and just giving it to our best. And then the other energy being the Leo, he wants to shine. He's ready to splash out the money. So his ego, but that's just who they are. I like to call them the children of the zodiac. They live in the moment, and that is fine too, so then we have, like I said, we're having that Jupiter in the 2nd house, and we've got Mercury in the 2nd house conjunct. Okay, so with it being in a fixed sign, I'm glad it's Aquarius, because they're a little bit more thinkers. So you could be just expanding your thoughts on your money and how to expand that money in some way. But then you could also be very aloof in your conversations with others that you're financially, you know, in a relationship with, and it just, you know, it's expanding issues in that way. Now, on the 12th, we also have Mercury in the second house, but this time it's squaring Uranus in Taurus in the fifth house. And you want to make changes, Capricorn, creatively, with your children and in your dating life. You're ready for that change. Let's get this picture going. But your thoughts, again, are back with your finances, your ethics, your morals, you know, because you know that this has to be changed in order to get where you want to go with your children or in your ethics and yeah, I mean with your children or in your dating life or in your creative projects. It's something within you that you have to change ethically and morally, or you have to change something within your finances in order to go in the direction that you want to go creatively or even with your children. Now on the 13th, we have Mars, okay, in Taurus in the fifth house. And that squares Saturn in um, Aquarius in the second house, okay? Now, here you're putting your actions on this day into your children, you know, into your dating life or into your creativity. But Saturn's making the money limited, okay? Because Saturn's in Aquarius in the second house, you know. He's making he's restricting those actions in that field, you know, because he wants you to make sure that's what you want. And then he's got the, you know, Venus over here in Capricorn in the first house, trining Uranus and Taurus in the fifth. So that's going to be a good day because the changes you're making with your kids, or the changes that you're making in your dating life or a creative project is going to be something that you love, and it's withstanding because it's trining Venus in the first. And Venus is all about what you love. Just going to be an energy that comes really easy to you, but it's going to be all about those changes again. Those changes are just going to be able to happen naturally, but you've got to use this energy to its fullest potential, or it's just going to pass you by, and you know, that good energy will be gone and things will be right back to the way they were if you don't get out there and use that energy on that day with your children. Now, again, on the 14th, we have Uranus going direct, okay, in Taurus in the fifth house. You are definitely focused right now on those changes in your dating life with your children and the creative projects. And now you're used to it, okay? You had to go through a change. Guess what? More changes on the way. You are now used to the changes that are happening in that area, but still got to grow some more. There's going to be some more changes in that area with your children, dating life, and creative life. But you know, I out of all the signs, Capricorn, with Pluto being there, I would say you're kind of getting used to change. You know, and also Pluto, I mean, if you've got a Capricorn ascendant, and that's my ascendant, okay? My ascendant is actually at 16 degrees, and Pluto is in my first house transiting this area and will be until 27 degrees Aquarius. So you just better get real used to change. Anybody with that, because they have Pluto riding in their first house. And as a Capricorn sun, you also have been going through a lot of changes. And you've got the sun conjunct Pluto in your first house. You're ready for that change. What can I say? I think you're actually enjoying the changes that you're making, Capricorn. Now on the 17th, we have got Jupiter in Aquarius in the second house. And Jupiter's going to expand those finances or ethics or morals, but it's in a challenging aspect to Uranus, and Taurus. You want to make your, you're shooting for stability and change, like you've never had with your children and your, creative projects and your dating life. You definitely want to change this area, but you've also got to come to a balance there, Capricorn, because you're definitely focused on expanding your finances. And your children, you got to remember they're not used to this change, and you neither. They're going through massive changes all on their own because you're going through changes. They're used to mom being one way and now mom's totally another. They're having to deal with this. And then on the 14th, we've got Uranus. We already did that. The 17th, we've got Jupiter. Okay, we did that, didn't we? Okay. On the 19th, we've got the sun in Aquarius entering the second house. Here, with it entering Aquarius for the sun, you're going to be more quiet about your finances. You're, invested in them. You've got to focus on your finances. Your ethics and your morals are changing. So therefore, you're not the same person you were a few years ago, and you know what you got to do to get your finances in order, and you also know what you have to do, to make everything right ethically and morally now. I mean, the sun's going to be there on the next 30 days, and these are issues you're going to focus on. Because on the 20th, we've got Mars in your fifth house. And it's conjunct Uranus again in your fifth house in Taurus. Okay. And with these two energies together, that's electricity. You are going to be able to get a lot of changes done with your children, with your creative projects, because you are totally wanting this area of your life stable. This is the most important thing to you, and that you want to get it stable. Now on the 22nd, you've got Mars in Taurus in the fifth house, squaring Uranus in Aquarius in the second house. Okay, and again, your actions with your children, okay, that you're taking with your children are a little bit challenging to your finances, and they're also challenging to your ethics or your morals. Your children's actions, they could be doing something that are challenging you financially or challenging you morally and ethically, and it's expanding this issue, and it's okay. Confrontation has to happen sometimes, you know. Then on the 23rd, we have got Venus in Capricorn in the first house, sextiling Neptune in Pisces in the third house. And pretty much you know, you love who you are, you're happy in what you're doing, and because of this, you're communing well, you know, communicating well. It is in Pisces, and again, it's a sextile. You're going to have to use this energy to tap into it. But again, you know, you love, can be these, again, conspiracy theories that you're looking at, or it could be you're using your, you know, psychic intuition, which is about a creative project. I mean, there are a lot of ways this Venus sextiling Neptune energy can overcome. But, you know, again, you can be overcoming a communication style that you have been using for a long time, and you're loving this new style, and it's just making you shine. That could be a way too, because on the 23rd, we do have the sun in our second house conjunct Saturn. And Saturn's restricting. Saturn says you got to focus on your finances. That's where your focus is. He's restricting your finances because you got to change it. You're the one that's got to focus on how you want to make this change. And, you know, I'm a Capricorn ascendant again, and I have a natal Aquarius Saturn, okay? And he does, you know, start to, he's in my first house though, a little different. You know, he does restrict what he touches. And I will tell you, if you put the work in and the energy in, and you're doing what's right by Saturn, the whole path, then he's not going to restrict you. But if your choices are less than desirable with what you're doing with your finances, or what you're doing ethically and morally, then yeah, there's going to be an issue. And on this day, it's your sun that he's conjunct in your second house. So he's restricting what you want to do financially. He's dimming that light because he wants you to change that picture of your finances in your life and your ethics and your morals. And once you do that, then he's not going to restrict you. That's, I mean, people say he always restricts me. He Saturn's a different type of character. Yeah, he holds you back, okay, until you start doing the work and focus on that area of life to change it. And that's where Saturn's at for you. Then on the 26th, we have the sun in Aquarius in the second house, squaring Uranus and Taurus in the fifth house. And again, now it's your children restricting you, you know, because of changes they're going through. You know, you're having, it's an ethics and a moral battle probably with your children, or it could be you know, you're having to look at challenges between how you make your money and your creative project. You know, you want to change your creative project, but you've also got to have your finances in a stable place. And that's where you're having to focus right now. Then on the 28th, okay, he's also, again, the sun is in your second house. You got to focus on your finances. And if you do, Jupiter's there, he's going to help you expand those finances in some way if you've been doing what he has been asking of you, you know. Then on the 30th, we have Mercury going retrograde in Aquarius at 26 degrees. And that is in the area of your finances, your ethics, your morals. And you're going to be cloudy. Your mind is just out of the zone, is all I can say. For the next, 30 days, well, more than 30 days, while Mercury is retrograde. You have been feeling it already over the last 2 weeks about your finances. And he's making you rethink what you want to do about your finances. He wants you to do something, okay? And when Mercury, you're trying to figure out how to move forward, rethink it, redo it, but don't take action on new endeavors because of the fact that Mercury is retrograde, and he wants you to think about this long and hard before you make that move. Okay? Now, Capricorn, I am using the Goddess cards for you for January of 2021. Yay, this is funny. Capricorn, we drew Isis, rebirth time. And yeah, we got Pluto in our first house. Pluto's changing us. Pluto's revamping our life. And I mean, I've already pretty much told you right now you're going through a lot of changes with your children, okay? And your creative projects. And you're also going through changes with your dating life, What interested you a few years back may not interest you anymore. And again, you're looking at your finances and yourself and how you communicate with others in order to change everything, because you want everything more stable. And I don't know what's the better card to explain everything that you're going through. It's Isis, it's rebirth time. But in your rebirth, also have patience with your children, because they're used to the old person. They're not used to who you are now. So, it's rebirth time. And just be who you are, Capricorn, and know that I love you, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.